Tim, looks like the running back room is getting some of its health back in this last stretch. Just how is that coming along?
Yeah, it's great. Great to get those guys back. Greg hit some good runs the other night. Brandon hit a tremendous run down by the goal line there. And it gets Rio, some breaks in there right now. Rio getting a lot of carries, especially when those two guys were out. So, the fact that Makari stepped up a couple weeks ago and we're getting Greg and Brandon back, it allows us to have fresh legs in that room come the fourth, late third, fourth quarters.
And how do you, when you have guys who have been out for some time, how do you ease them back into the game reps?
It all depends on the game plan and what we want to do. They all get reps early in the game, and then you ride the hot hand as you go. Rio again had the hot hand on Saturday, which allowed us later in the game on Brandon's run to have completely fresh legs in the game at that point. It just kind of depends on the game. There's certain plays we want Greg in for, certain situations we want Brandon in for, and then they're all good to be every down backs.
Senior day coming up on Saturday. Can you just talk about Seth's impact on the program?
Yeah, that's all I know about Memphis is him as a quarterback. He's done a tremendous job here, won a lot of football games here, broke every record that there is. I love coaching that kid. I love being around that kid on a day-to-day basis. He's taught me as much as I taught him. So we're going to go enjoy this time, enjoy this game. Got some stuff to do afterwards, but he deserves every credit that he can because he is Memphis football the last 4 years.
Just in the time that you coached him, what's the biggest thing that he's grown and improved on?
His confidence in himself and his leadership ability is what is really to me that it goes hand in hand. When you start believing you are who you are, then you're more confident to speak up and tell people what they need to do. If you're uncertain of yourself or you're unsure of yourself, you're not going to have enough confidence to go to someone else and tell them what they need to do. So as a freshman, that's natural to walk into that position. But as we met his second year here and he started to grow, you can see the confidence in himself and the belief in himself of who he is. I always say a quarterback better be arrogant if he's going to be a good player, and that arrogance started to show up. And arrogance is a compliment to a quarterback. To me, that was the biggest part of it.
Obviously, there's a ton of seniors that will go through everyone if I could, but Rock, sort of the same question, just especially the jump that he made before last season.
Yeah, you know what? It's fun in the modern day of portal, college football portal, to be able to coach a guy for 3 years, coach a guy for 4 years. First off, the coaching cycle, to be able to stay at a place for 3 or 4 years is a blessing. To be able to coach a kid who stayed at that place 3 or 4 years is fun. That's what coaching's about. I'm an old guy, so I can say it. Back in the day when you recruit a kid and you watch them grow and you watch them graduate and you watch them go on in life and you were still all at the same places. That's the fun of it. The portal world sometimes gets a kid in there for 10 months, or the coaching carousel gets you someplace for 10 months and you don't build that type of relationship. But to be able to be at a place and be able to coach Rock for 3 years and be able to coach BT for 3 years and be able to coach Jonah for 3 years and Kobe for 3 years and Lampshade for 3 years, I could go through a whole bunch of them. And to me that's the fun of coaching. Yeah, Saturday night calling a touchdown, celebrating locker room a victory, that's great. But the fun of coaching is the relationship you build with your players and to watch them that, when you tell them something as a young guy and they may not truly believe that's the case, and then year or 2 years later it starts to make sense for them because they've matured, they've grown up, and then to watch them mature, that's the fun of coaching. That's why I got in this business.
Well, when you've got so many guys who have chosen to stay for their entire careers, what does that do for you guys while you're further recruiting as a program where you got players that didn't leave?
Everything positive that happens is recruiting. Nowadays, it's very easy. Be careful how I say this, but it's very easy to lose a program nowadays. With the transfer portal, with guys, the ability to just up and leave, or you as a coaching carousel up and leave, and that type of stuff. It's very easy to lose a program for Coach Sofield to keep these guys here and keep the stability. Even in the transfer portal world, college football is built on recruiting and developing and coaching the hell out of those kids that you recruited. The portal world helps you a lot of ways, but it's still the base of your program should be kids you recruited, kids that have been there, kids that have understand the system, and kids who you can develop to play in your culture and in the system that you have. So to be able to show the example of, all these guys who stayed here to not only the kid freshmen, but to the freshmen's parents. It just talks about what the culture of the program is inside these walls and inside this building.
Now, how do you, obviously for a lot of these guys, it's going to be their last home game. How do you manage the emotions of that, but also staying locked into?
Yeah, it's like everything in the game of football. The emotions leading up to the game, no matter what it is, the consequence of the game, the excitement of the game, whatever it is, when that ball is kicked off and you go out to the field and you take that first snap, I always say it's still 10 yards for a first down. You do that a couple times. At some point, you're going to cross that goal line that gets you 6 points. So it does just become the game at that point. But we're enjoying every last second that we can. Tuesday practice, enjoy Tuesday practice. I get it. Shoot, I was a player 100 years ago. Tuesday practice, it can be really hard sometimes. But those are the times you remember. Those are the times down the road that you enjoy. And to be able to sit back and enjoy the practice, enjoy the time you have with your friends. I know it sounds hard, but enjoy the time where the coach is in your face yelling at you because you did it wrong. That's the stuff you miss down the road. So enjoy every second of it, and once the ball is kicked off, it's just a football game that you're playing and trying to execute.
How do you feel about the battle for the Bones rivalry in the trophy?
And anytime you play for something like that, again, I've been here 3 years. We played UAB. We didn't play UAB the first year, I don't believe. So that rivalry kind of just picked up. But, to me, rivalry games, and anytime you play for a trophy or anytime you play for that takes me, that's important. It's important to people who've been a part of Memphis football for a really, really long time, and they deserve the right for us to go out there and sell out and keep the Bones where they belong, man.
Obviously, we talked about Senior Day, all those guys who are going to be gone from the program. Over the next couple of games, the next 2 games, and then a bowl game, how much do you want to see? You've seen Malachi, you've seen Makari, guys like that. How much do you want to get some of those guys involved?
The game plan doesn't change. The game plan doesn't change. Those guys are out there practicing their tail off. The future of the program is out there practicing. To me, it's important to me to make sure the seniors finish it off the right way and finish the season off the way they should, starting by beating UAB on Saturday. So that's what we have to do. That's what we're focused on. And, everyone at this point in the season understands their role. A lot of people's roles have changed due to, some injuries or some situations where guys weren't in the game. So all of a sudden roles change. That's part of a season. But where we are right now, I'd love to see the older guys go out and play a clean, executed football game, be productive when the ball goes away, and make the plays that we all hope they can make when they're put in that situation.
So looking at the game, what have you been seeing out of their defense?
You know what? They're a top 5 pass defense in the country. They have a defensive end who leads the conference in sacks. So everyone can look at records all they want, but there's good football players over there that we better go in. We better be in the right mindset. We better execute. We got to handle ourselves on Saturday. I thought we did a good job this past weekend against what I told you was probably as good of a defense we played all year. We did a good job of playing clean, playing efficient in the third down game, playing efficient in the red zone game, and that's what we got to do. The big thing we got to do this week, which got away from us a little bit last week, is throw catch. We had some opportunities to make some throws. We had some opportunity to catch some balls that could have put that game away earlier, and we didn't make those plays. So we got to do a good job of throwing and catching. That's a big emphasis we had on practice today.